Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, John Nye, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast presented by Omaha Steaks. Grilling season is in the air. We got a beautiful day here in Ohio. It's a perfect day to break out the grills. Get yourself $30 off your order today at omahasteaks.com. Use code DAWGS, D-A-W-G-S, when you check out. Today, we're just going to hit some quick news and notes that are going on this week with the Cleveland Browns. We're not going to dive too deep into a lot of it because there's more stuff coming later in the week. And we just want to highlight the things that are going on. So we've got Michael Woods with an injury. We've got a couple people the Browns are meeting with. We've got some draft prospects that we just want to touch on. So dive into all that here. Before I do, though, I just want to make sure everybody follow us, please, on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please, if you don't mind, for just 99 cents, you can become a YouTube member of our channel, become a Dawg Pack supporter, and then you get all the cool little emojis that we've created. You get a cool badge next to your name, so every time you leave a comment, every time you interact with the show, everybody will know who you are, how long you've been a supporter, and how serious you are about the Cleveland Browns and the Dawgs Podcast. So make sure you guys are looking into that. Like I said, just 99 cents is pretty cool. There's obviously higher tiers if you want to support the show at a higher amount, but 99 cents is all it takes to get the badge, and you get level increases as you go. So the longer that you're a supporter, you get newer badges. So when you start out, you're at level 1, and then after so long, you earn a level 2 badge. You can earn a level 3, all the way up to the orange Dawgs Browns helmet. So it's pretty cool. So check that out right here on YouTube. And last but not least, if you want to join our Patreon community, the real big Dawg Pack community, that's over at jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dawg Pack member today. All right, so like I mentioned, right at the top, just want to talk about Michael Woods. Very unfortunate, 6th-round rookie last season for the Cleveland Browns. Wide receiver, was working out with Deshaun Watson. Unfortunately, he ruptured his Achilles. So for the Browns wide receiver room, that was, I don't want to say it was weak. I don't want to say it was real scarce or anything to begin with, but at the same time, it wasn't the strongest. And now it's even weaker. We were kind of, I don't want to say a lot of us were putting a ton of stock into Michael Woods developing into a constant contributor here in 2023, but we really like the potential that he came with last year. Obviously, he didn't get a whole lot of run as a 6th-round rookie. Not a lot of them do. Not everybody is Donovan Peoples-Jones. So losing Michael Woods, I don't want to go too deep right now into the ramifications of that injury, what it means for the wide receiver core, all that stuff, because tomorrow Derek Frisbee is going to guest host an episode of the show, and he really dives into the Michael Woods injury, breaks it down, what it means for the wide receiver room, what our wide receiver depth chart really looks like right now at the moment after the Michael Woods injury. And then he's going to highlight one of your guys' favorite draft prospects at the wide receiver position for the Browns, Jonathan Mingo. And I'll tell you what, it's interesting. It is a very interesting, detailed analysis breakdown of Jonathan Mingo and how he would fit and why he would fit with the Browns. So check it out tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. But like I said, just thoughts and prayers to Michael Woods and his family. It's just a terrible thing, for a young kid who's got some hype, wanting to make a name for himself in the National Football League, to suffer this injury right now in the offseason before we even get to training camps or anything with the team. It's just, suffering this injury at any point is obviously devastating and horrible, but man, it would have been nice to see this kid, get some run in camp, get some run in preseason, maybe a couple games at least, just to see what sort of talent that the Browns are working with. But we'll have to wait until 2024 for all of that. So again, thoughts and prayers to Michael Woods. Best of luck, Godspeed in your recovery, my friend. Moving on, we have already talked at length about how the defensive tackle position, the defensive line overall for the Cleveland Browns, is not done yet. I know we brought in Dalvin Tomlinson. We were really excited about that. Maurice Hurst is a nice piece if he can stay healthy. I think that he could actually surprise a lot of people with what he can do on the field. But that doesn't matter. The defensive line still is not done. So on Tuesday, the Cleveland Browns hosted veteran defensive tackle Al Woods, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks. Al Woods has been around for a while. He's played for 12 seasons, 155 career games. He's played on 5 different teams. He started with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the Steelers, the Titans, the Colts. So he's been around, but he is an established veteran defensive tackle presence in the National Football League. In his last 2 seasons, he's combined 89 total tackles, 53 solo stops, 9 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 9 QB hits. And just last season alone, he had 39 tackles, 27 solo, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks in just 14 games last season in 2022. Like I said, been around for quite a while in the league. He's 36 years old, so obviously this is a 1-year deal we're looking at with him. Maybe the last year of his career. Either way, he's toward the end, but it doesn't mean he can't be effective. I mean, the guy is 6'4", 331 pounds, so he is a massive, massive human body that can just stuff the interior of that defensive line. You stick him next to a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson, who can put pressure adequately on the quarterback, with Myles Garrett, Obo, all these other guys rushing off the end, Alex Wright, anyone else we draft and bring in. Now all of a sudden your defensive line is starting to look pretty scary, especially with the rotational pieces we can use at defensive tackle. Al Woods, I think, would be a nice fit, but we'll see. We haven't heard any news yet on whether or not he's going to sign with the Browns. I believe he had a meeting also scheduled with the New York Jets, so time will tell. But just so you guys are aware, the Browns are continuing to investigate and put time and effort into establishing and building that defensive tackle position. This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Spring is in the air, and that can only mean one thing: spring grilling. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to spring into something delicious with their semi-annual sale. With 50% off site-wide, grab all your favorites like perfectly aged, tender steaks, ocean-fresh seafood, juicy burgers, incredible air-chilled chicken, and decadent desserts. Plus, when you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code DAWGS, D-A-W-G-S at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. It's the perfect way to get fired up and spring into something special. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use code DAWGS at checkout. Take advantage of this deal right now. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, and you're going to want to hurry because 50% off site-wide is only happening for a limited time. So don't miss your chance to save big right now. Visit omahasteaks.com. Use code DAWGS, D-A-W-G-S, at checkout. Get that additional $30 off when you shop their semi-annual sale today. Minimum order may be required. Okay, you guys want a linebacker or some more linebackers for this linebacking core, which, again, another position that we've said the Browns have got to address. Trenton Simpson is meeting with the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are hosting him for a pre-draft visit, the linebacker out of Clemson. That's going to be happening here this week. Interestingly enough, Trenton Simpson has been compared to current Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. His size on the smaller side, 6'2", 235. That's, similar to JOK, who's at 6'2", 221. So, like I said, pretty similar. Simpson has a little bit of weight advantage on JOK. So, the guy seems to have pretty good potential in the eyes of NFL scouts. Pro Football Network, quote, "When you watch Simpson's tape, you have to play a bit of Where's Waldo before each snap. On any given play, he could be in the box, in the slot, off the edge, or even at deep safety. But what makes Simpson so valuable isn't his ability to line up all over the field. It's his ability to dominate all over the field." So that really fits the mold of what this Cleveland Browns front office likes to do on defense, especially in this area of the defense. It's versatility, right? It's, a guy like JOK who can play multiple positions out of the linebacker spot. He can play in coverage, he can rush the passer, he can get up on the line, he can do all those sorts of things. You say the same thing for Juan Thornhill, who they just signed and brought in to play free safety. A lot of these guys, the Browns are looking for versatile athletes who can play multiple positions and have an impact in those positions. And it sounds like Trenton Simpson might be able to fit that bill for the Browns if they're able to land him somewhere. I don't know if he's a third round, going to be around in the third round for the Browns, but if they can trade up, we've been talking about the trade up into the second round. If one of these pre-draft visits, these guys that the Browns meet and just absolutely fall in love with, if they start to slip and fall to a spot that's attainable for the Browns to go up and make a move, I think they will. The big thing that, we have been talking about, we've mentioned, and I know a lot of you guys have brought it up as well, and it's true. Our linebackers have not been good the last couple of seasons because of the poor play of the defensive line. The defensive line, these guys are supposed to be eating up blocks. They're supposed to be protecting the linebackers and freeing up the linebackers to make plays and to be able to move and do the things that they are on the field to do. And that just has not happened in the Joe Woods defense. But now with Jim Schwartz, with the addition of a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson, hopefully with some growth out of Perrion Winfrey, if we bring in an Al Woods, if we draft another defensive tackle, we bring in some other guys to fill that defensive line with some solid, block-eating bodies, you could see this linebacking core all of a sudden look completely different than it has the last 3 years. JOK, while he has looked good in his 2 seasons as a pro, might have his best season yet because of what Jim Schwartz is going to be able to get his defensive line to do and the players that the Browns have brought in to execute it. Couple combine metrics real quick. Trenton Simpson, 4.43 40-yard dash. Speed is obviously readily available with this kid. 9.98 RAS, relative athletic score, which just evaluates a player's athleticism essentially, which is basically a 10 out of 10 almost. So this is a super uber athlete player. I think that the Browns are definitely showing interest in him by bringing him in for the pre-draft visit. And I just think he's another name at linebacker in the draft to keep an eye on here later this month. All right, finally, last but not least, just a couple other prospect trackers to mention. It does not look like the Browns are done solidifying the backup quarterback position. They're meeting with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback out at UCLA. Dual threat guy, 6'2", 203. He was a 5-year starter in college. Just the Browns are looking to find the right piece. I don't know if they're keeping 2 backups to Deshaun Watson, but right now Josh Dobbs has been signed as the backup, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get that job. If they find a guy like Thompson-Robinson that they like and they decide to pull the trigger on him, or they've also met with Houston quarterback Clayton Tune. Tune's another interesting prospect coming out of college. I mean, obviously you're not looking at him as any sort of a top tier quarterback, but as depth, it's not bad. He's 6'2", 220. He's got a 40-10 touchdown to interception ratio. I'm sure that the Browns found some interest or saw something they liked on his tape when they were evaluating Nate Dell, when they were doing his pre-draft visit, the wide receiver out of Houston. So the Browns are continuing in this pre-draft process. They're bringing in people, like I mentioned on a previous episode. We've got the pre-draft visit tracker on our website at thedawgspodcast.com. So just go check that out if you want to stay up to date on who the Browns are meeting with prior to the upcoming draft. And before I wrap this up, just a quick reminder that on night 2, on Friday, April 28th at 7 o'clock, we will be going live for the second round and as much of the third round as possible of the NFL draft. We're going to cover what happened on night 1. We're going to recap the first round, kind of give our takes and reactions to that. We'll be covering what's happening as the second round's moving along. We'll see if the Browns make a trade up. If they do, we're going to be there to cover it. If they don't, we'll be there to talk about what they're going to do in the third round and evaluate whoever it is they do select to become the next Cleveland Browns. So make sure you guys mark your calendars for that. Stay tuned. We'll be making announcements. Again, join our YouTube channel. That would be awesome. 99 cents is all it takes. You unlock your badge, become a supporter of the channel. We really appreciate it. We love doing this work for you guys, and we're going to keep doing it as best and as much as we possibly can. So until we hit you guys with some more content later this week, thank you. We appreciate you, and let's go Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.